Hello, you guys, and welcome. This is a special episode of One on One with T Gray. I know for those of you who are regular passerbys, you're like, oh, where's the sex? We ain't talking sex tonight, though, you guys. I have one of the best to ever do it in the game of acting on the show tonight. You all may know him from Saints and Sinners. You may know him from some of his most iconic roles from our cult classics. Actor Clifton Powell is in the building. Come on in.
How you doing? How's everybody?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great.
Listen, come sliding through here looking every bit of 35. How you do
that? I get that black rinse in my hair once every 2 weeks. If you see me without my black rinse, I look like I was in Django.
Well, listen, shout out to the shape up and the black rinse.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much for sitting down with me, ready to get started and dive in. So I know a lot of Saints and Sinners fans are going to tune in. I have to look. My producer in the background is a major fan. How is the show going?
Oh man, we're. First of all, I want to say I'm glad to be on here with you. You're quite amazing, and we're not going to tell the whole secrets of how we know each other. So. But it runs in the family. I can just say that it's in the blood. That's what you just told me. It's in the blood. Anyway, yeah. I just want to tell you, I'm proud of you, and it's wonderful to be here. And I want to thank all the fans out there that are watching me over the years, but have been really tuning in to Saints and Sinners. We are getting record numbers in season 6, which is the final season. But if you guys keep watching like you're doing, they'll probably bring this thing back for 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. The numbers are going through the roof.
Yeah, people absolutely love the show. I have been binge watching myself, you guys. So I'm in, y'all. I'm all the way in it with y'all. So I'm enjoying it too. One thing when I introduced you, I used the word icon. And I know that when we think of our iconic actors who really leave the mark, you are definitely an icon for Black actors. How does that feel, or what does that word really mean to you when you hear people say that about you?
I'm just in awe of the blessing that God has put on my life in terms of how I came up in DC. I had a tough childhood, and I really truly only wanted to be a football player. For all the old guys out there, I really wanted to be Charlie Taylor. And Charlie Taylor, of course, was a big time Washington Redskins or Commander, or what do we call now, the Commanders or something?
Yeah, that's.
Well, I'm an old Washington Redskins fan from I was born in 56, so the day I was born, I was a Redskin fan. So I really, truly just wanted to be Charlie Taylor, man. My passion was football, and I think God had another plan for me. So when I talk about this journey that I've been on for the last 35 years, it's just all a blessing. And people call me iconic. I don't think I started out to be iconic, because I tell all the young people I was the worst actor in my program. Mm-hmm. I wanted to be a football player. And then after football, I really have to tell you, I didn't have a desire to be anything other than a football player. And after football, I was going to drive a bus, because they said bus drivers made $6.50 an hour back in 1972.
Wow.
And that's a fact. So when somebody says I'm iconic, I just think, man, if a little Black boy from Southeast DC can do it, anybody can do it. That's how I really feel.
Amen to that. So being a little Black boy from Southeast, of course, not having an upbringing that, what society say is what is it in your childhood or in your life as you grew up that you take and you put into some of these roles?
Well, I don't know if that's the fact. I think growing up in the hood, you see so many different colorful characters. Walking down 8th Street, 8th and H, you see all different types of characters. I think I've grown up with so many different characters. And the system of acting that I study is called the Stanislavski system. or what we call method acting. And a lot of times with method acting, you start with your life as a base, and then you take from your life and kind of mesh it with the character from a mental standpoint. Like you may see Billy Bob Thornton. When I teach classes, I tell all my students to watch Sling Blade.
Yeah.
Well, you borrow some from your childhood, you borrow some from research, you borrow some from people you've seen along your journey, and then you add the physical stuff, but you get the mental and the internal stuff. So I borrowed a lot from my own childhood, from my personality, from the things that I've gone through growing up. It's a mesh of a whole lot of things. It's like a potpourri of stuff.
Oh no, not the potpourri.
Yeah, it's like a potpourri, like
That
a big old.
potpourri has.
Well, let me just say this. It's like putting together a stew. Because if you study acting and you understand the Stanislavski system, it starts from the mental, internal thinking of a character, and then you put on the physical, and you borrow. You borrow from your research.
Yeah.
Like when I played Dr. King in Selma Lord Selma, I think it was in 1997. I'm a Pisces, so I'm a giver. If my all my inner circle friends know that I'm very emotional, I'm very passionate. My kids tease me because I cry all the time, but I'm a Pisces, so just a general nature. So I borrowed that to play Dr. King.
Right.
Now, some of the things that Dr. King went through, because I came from the streets and from the hood, I don't think I could let nobody hit me in the head with a brick or spit on me. So that stuff I had to do research from.
Yeah.
So some parts of my personality I was able to infuse into the character, but the general internal thinking of Dr. King, I had to borrow and do research to understand that from a from a total perspective.
Yeah, most definitely. So having all these things, all these flavors to your stew and so many things that you've put together, it has catapulted you into the forefront of a lot of things. You're NAACP Image Award recipient. You have been on mega stages, mega movies. Has there been one thing that you could say is your biggest triumph so far?
From an artistic standpoint, I think playing Dr. King it's got to be, although it was years ago, it's got to be, one of the most incredible feelings in the world to portray a man, of such astound, magnificent, I should say. Magnificence is overwhelming. When I booked that job, I kind of actually turned it down because it's a long political story behind Disney. I wasn't their first choice. So a lot of roles that people see me in, I'm not the first choice, but because I've been trained so well, I go in and knock the first choice out of the box because it's prep. But I'm not bragging about that. It's just preparation meeting opportunity. So when I went in for Dr. King, Reuben Cannon was like, "Hey, Cliff, I'm not exactly sure how your picture came across my desk because you play a lot of gangsters, and I know you're not gonna play Cuddy as Dr. King, And then the producers didn't want to read me because they had a bigger star. I wasn't a name, really a super name at that time. And they had a name actor, but I'd stayed up all night long and studied Eyes on the Prize. And I memorized Dr. King's speech. So I would say that is probably the most overwhelming moment of my career to have portrayed such a great man. And then Ray was, I can't even, I have to put that in the same box as Selma Lord Selma. But then I have to go back and thank my friend. First, I want to thank my friend Jamie Foxx for allowing me to be a part of Ray, because he stood up in a meeting and said, if Cliff Powell is not in this movie, it's going to be a problem, because the audition was amazing. And they thought that I didn't hit it. So they thought I was a little off in the audition. And I called Jamie, and Jamie said, F that, Cliff Powell, you killed that thing, and you're going to be in this movie. So I think, again, I always give homage into Jamie Foxx for that role. I have to give homage to my partner, Mr. Charles Dutton from Baltimore, who saw me walking down when he was coming into the building, walking down the hallway, and I had to audition for a character on his show, Rock, and I was playing Andre Thompson, who was a cracked out crackhead. And because I come from the theater, I came in looking like a real crackhead. Like I had on dirty clothes, I had dirt in my hair, my teeth was black and brown. And Charles Dutton walked past me and I said, hey, because I knew Charlie through a friend of mine from Yale. And I said, hey, Mr. Dutton. He said, hey, how you doing? Charlie told me after I got the role, he said, I went in the room. He said, you know, they got a real goddamn crackhead out there.
So
I have to say, that role right there changed my life in Hollywood. I have to go back and pay homage to the Hudlin brothers who put me in House Party 1. So those films together, along with Dead Presidents and Menace to Society, have to all be like one of all my favorites.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it's taking, I have so much information in my head. So
it's cool.
I can't say Ray without saying Selma Lord Selma. Right. I can't say Selma Lord Selma without saying Rock. I can't say Rock without saying Menace to Society. I can't say Menace without saying Dead President.
So I'm gonna tell you one. I was about to ask you, how do you handle being typecasted in Hollywood? But I feel like you kind of answered that with just the preparation, meeting the opportunity, and just taking a.
Well, let's address that though. Let's address that because I think that's a myth. I'm not typecasted. What happens is for African American artists, and I want to address that for real because I get a lot of flack. Somebody came to my page the other day and said all he plays is rapists. I played one guy in Women That Aren't Loose, a movie that I never read the script from. Someone dropped out the movie on Wednesday. They called me on Thursday. Reuben Cannon casted me in Why the Fools Fall in Love, Selma Lord Selma, and Buffalo Soldiers. And he's my friend. And he's believed in me in the beginning. So I came in. I never even read the script until I got to set. And when I read the script, I said, hey, Reuben, this is some deep stuff. I'm not touching that little girl. So let's reblock that. And I get a lot of flack. That's the only character I've ever played like that. So I get typecast because when you watch Cuddy I was the last choice for Cuddy. They did not have me in mind for Cuddy. They did not have me in mind for Cuddy. They had me in mind for Cowboy or Spider. I stayed up all night long and memorized Cuddy and begged them to let me read Cuddy. So when you play a gangster like Cuddy, people automatically think that every role you play. I played doctors. I played a pastor last season on Black Lightning.
Yeah.
I played Dr. King. I played a African Prince on the Jamie Foxx show. I played a cop on Martin. I do pastor roles all the time in almost, what is it? I can't even think of the movie. Me and Boris Kojo, The Gospel. So I think I played a young father on a show called House. So if you look at some of the older stuff that I've done and pull up my resume, instead of making value judgments about us, because we are trained, just as trained as Robert De Niro and Al Pacino. Because I see these memes going around, oh, I hate so-and-so in real life. We're actors. We're playing characters. Somebody said, that nigga got to be the same way in real life. No, I'm not. I've never been in trouble. I've never been arrested. I don't do drugs. I take care of my kids. I don't beat women. It's all acting, man. And we don't get credit for our training. And I think we have to get away from that. So I'm telling you right now, right here, to everybody that's listening, it's a myth. I play all types of characters. And when you play a gangster, as Cuddy was so cold-blooded, everybody just thinks you a gangster in every play. Like some lady told me, said, okay, I know you're playing Dr. King, but are you going to be killing people? Have you ever seen Dr. King kill anybody? So it's just, and I'm going on about this because if I let you guys see my DMs, one girl came to my page, and I'm not going to tell you what happened after I blocked her, because another guy came to my page and called me so many names that I had to call my security team. He called me. He said, why did you block her? I said, I block everybody that comes to my page and says things that are not about love. My life, and my kids and my family are about love. And if you come to my page with negative stuff, I'm blocking your black ass. That's just what it is.
It
And
is.
because people say some very cruel things. One girl said, "Oh, I'm so damn glad to see you finally smiling in a picture because all you do is rape people and kill people in movies." I'm like, I can't tell you what I wanted to say, but I blocked her. I said, please, no negative comments. Do your research. And it's not fair. And the reason I'm saying it is because we have to give African-American artists the same benefit that we give Robert De Niro and Al Pacino and Dustin Hoffman, because we are all trained actors. I'm a trained actor. 20 years of unemployment, 20 years before you guys saw me as Pinky or Clifton Powell and Ray or Rock or Dead Presidents. I was training. I took 4 years of speech classes. When I first got to Emerson, which I went to college at Emerson College in 1974, this is how I sounded. Hi, my name is Clifton Powell. I'm going to be an actor.
Wow.
I took 4 years of speech classes. So I'm saying all of this, and I'm a little hot about it because I want everybody to understand that we deserve the same respect you give De Niro. I've never seen a meme that says Robert De Niro kills everybody in every movie. Stop saying that shit. It's horrible.
Yeah.
And I'm saying it now. And for anybody that don't like it, you can kiss my black shiny butt. Oh, I'm joking about that part. But I take it personally because I want people to really give Angela Bassett the props she deserves, man. Give Tara. We are trained actors. And so at the end of the day, I blocked this girl. This guy came to my page with threats and called me a black C-U-N-T, a D-I-C-K eating C-U-N-T. And it's so, and I'm telling you, it's graphic. He called my mother a hoe. My mother committed suicide when I was 4. They found my mother in the bottom of the Anacostia River. And you think that didn't hurt me?
Yeah.
I mean, black people got to do better.
Yeah.
And I know we didn't want to get this deep today, but we said earlier that we're going to chop it up. I'm going to tell you how it really is, not the shit that people read in the news.
Yeah.
I live this every day, and it's insulting because I never wanted to be an actor. But there's some nasty, mean people out there. How do you call me a C-U-N-T and talk about my mom who died so tragically and was wrought with mental illness? How do you do that? So I wanted to address this. I've been wanting to address it. This is a great place to address it.
Yeah,
so people can stop, man. Stop. Will Smith is a human being. He had a moment of a lapse in judgment. It's a lot of things that lead up to that smack that don't line up for Will and Jada. Her mother made her marry Will. She never wanted to marry Will or anybody. You can't make a kid marry somebody because they're pregnant.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot of stuff, man, and we got to do better. So anyway, I hope everybody heard that. Yeah. I hope you understand. Stop typecasting all of us. Stop, especially me. I play everything from Martin Luther King to Pinky to Ray to Cuddy to a pastor on Black Lightning to a father to prince, African princes to doctors, lawyers. Let us live, guys. And if we don't have black people support, we have nothing. That's for real. All right, now I need a glass of wine. I'll take another little sip of my wine. If it wasn't for red wine, I'd come through there and beat y'all asses.
Well, thank the Lord.
I really don't fight. I told somebody the other day, I don't fight. Well, I call my security on your ass.
In a minute.
In a minute. No, but this guy came to my page, man. So he was so nasty that I had to call my guys who are my security, like special, they're special forces guys.
Yeah.
Because I read a story about this girl that got killed from internet bullying.
Yeah.
So I take that shit very seriously. So if you hear me talking, don't come to my page with no bullshit because I'm gonna block your black ass. I don't know if I can cuss, but I'm cussing today. I'm gonna block your black ass. And if you go any further, I got a team of federal agents on my team because I take that shit seriously, man. I love black people. Black people have made me a household name, but we have to do better. We got to stop talking about Black Lives Matter to other people, we got to make sure Black Lives matter to ourselves. And I'm going to stop
Yes.
right here. Hey, y'all, don't get mad at me. I'm just telling y'all the truth.
It is what it is. So I'm gonna tell you this story about, because you had brought up rock a minute ago. I
Okay.
remember seeing the cast photo, and Jesus Christ, I don't know how old I was, but I know I was. I don't even know if I was 10 yet. I might have been. I'm not sure. But I remember looking at the cast photo, and I remember people explaining to me, you know, who you were and why this photo was important and why it hung where it hung. And not in that moment, but as I got older, it helped me to understand what potential is there. You know what I mean? So I didn't know at the time exactly who Clifton Powell was, but I knew that because this person had this potential, that I did too. So who were some of the people that inspired you along your journey?
Okay, so I'm gonna try to get through this without crying.
Go ahead, cry.
Okay, I'm gonna try. I did a podcast last week with a brother named Brad Johnson who gave me my first job in Hollywood, and it just got so emotional because the cat didn't know me from a hole in the wall. That job saved my life. And then I did a podcast the week before with Black fathers, and he said, if your dad could hear you, what letter would you write to him? And I just fell apart. So I have to start, first of all, with my family. Cousin Francis, my mama, my daddy, Clifton Lewis Powell, my mama, Cleo Powell, my sister Marianne Brown, God rest their souls, they've all passed on. Miss Imogene Johnson, whose son Daryl Harvey took me under his wing when I was 7 years old. I grew up in Mayfair in DC, and there were only two people in Mayfair that could cross the street into Parkside, the projects, after 7 o'clock. And one of those guys was Daryl Harvey, who became my angel. He became my hero. He became my surrogate big brother. He became my protector at 7 years old because my dad worked nights. So it's from 7:30 in the evening until the next day, I was by myself because my babysitter had rats when I was 4 and 5, and I didn't want to stay with them anymore. So I told my dad, I said, if we move, I don't want a babysitter. And my dad had to work. So I had a plethora of people, all the people in my neighborhood that helped raise me. Miss Wheeler, Margaret Hicks, Fillmore Hicks, Mr. Dick, all my teachers at Neville Thomas Elementary School. So when you see someone make it in this life or in this business, especially in this arduous business acting, it's a line of people. All of my teachers at Workshop for Careers in the Arts, which became Duke Ellington High School. And Debbie Allen was my dance teacher.
Oh, wow.
So God rest her soul, Glenda Dickerson, who ran the Spelman Drama Department for years, was my mentor. Charles Brown, God rest his soul, is the reason I stayed at Workshop for Careers in the Arts, because I was so ghetto and so edgy. They about to put my black ass out of there because I was scaring everybody, because I never wanted to be there. To all my teachers at St. Anthony's, to my nephew, who's the sportscaster, James Brown, everybody knows JB, who's always been just a shining light in my life, man. From the time I was a little shorty, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th grade, 9th grade, JB came to all my plays when I was at workshops, all my workshop teachers. To Mr. Dennis Wiley, I'm not sure if he's out there and still alive, but I want to say thank you for even letting me be a part of Workshop. To Mr. Charles Augins, Mr. Skipper Driscoll, some of these people have passed on. To Kiki Shepard, everybody knows Kiki. All those people, Mike Malone, Peggy Cooper Cafridge, And I'm David, Kenneth Doherty. I'm sure I'm leaving out a few people, but those are all the people who are responsible for me talking to you right now. Were it not for those people, I wouldn't be here. And cousin Frances, who is what?
She's my grandmother.
Your grandmother. And you and I, second cousins.
Yeah.
I guess y'all should know that. And I remember meeting you as a little girl. I remember I'm sorry, guys.
It's okay.
When I got admitted into college, they had to take up a collection to send me to college. And you know, cousin Frances was that lady, man. And she was so clear and so blunt. And you know, these people didn't have a lot of money, man. And so we're talking about 1973, 74. And they all took up a collection, and cousin Frances gave me $500, man. And I said, cousin Frances, you didn't have to do that. She said, shit, then give it back then. And she was teasing, but that's how much they love me, man. They love me. I didn't go to college with a suitcase. I had my clothes in a Safeway bag. I know people don't want to believe these stories, but it's the truth. Yeah. And it's a blessing, man. It's all a blessing. So when people look at me and they say, Clifton Powell, I'm like, oh my goodness, man. I'm so blessed and I'm so honored to have had so many wonderful people pour to me. And now I'm pouring and sharing with you. And we're going to make sure you do all that you need to do. Because, you know, we've been talking and I'm like, if you need me for anything, I'm here. So that's what it is, man. It's never one person. And then all my teachers, all my friends in New York, you know, it's been a blessing.
That's amazing. So definitely a major story. I can't wait for the day we see your biopic on Lifetime. Okay.
No, I want to do a one-man show called An Evening with Clifton Powell. But I also want to write a book. I just got to stop working and take the time to do it because I'm about to move behind the camera. But anyway, let's keep moving. I'm sorry. You know, some of these questions you're asking me take me back about 50 years.
I'm excited to see you move behind the camera, most definitely. So you've always been in a position to be able to overcome no matter what the circumstance. In acting, we see people have these highs, these lows. You'll see a face in every single movie for a minute, and you won't see him for a while. And you see him in everything for a minute, and you won't see him for a while. What has been the key to your staying power? And if at any time you didn't feel on top, what did you do to get back on top?
Man, you have certainly done your research. You know, my dad, God rest his soul, man, he was a little man. He was only 5'3". And I was saying to myself, man, if I don't get bigger than 5'3", I ain't gonna get no girls. Thank God I got to like 5'10", 5'11". But my dad was a country guy. You know, our family is from Fredericksburg, King George County, Virginia. Aunt Gladys and Aunt Alma and cousin Jenny, cousin Francis, Uncle Morris. Let me put Uncle Morris in there. Let me put Uncle Wesley in there. Uncle Jack. Aunt Esther, all these people, Aunt Esther, who helped raise me. My dad ended up in the same mental hospital as my mom, St. Elizabeth's. But my dad was a really interesting guy because we got evicted from my apartment and I lost everything. My damn daddy moved all this stuff back into the damn apartment almost. And I'm not sure how he did it, but he wasn't a learned man, but he always instilled two things in me. Where there is a will, there is a way. And all you need is faith the size of a mustard seed. That's what you need to make it in life. So a lot of times we try to have too much faith. You only need this much faith.
Yeah.
And I never forgot that from the time I was a little boy in Mayfair, taking care of myself with the help of Miss Jean and Daryl and a lot of my teachers and all the people in the neighborhood and especially in my little area in the neighborhood. And I carried that with me throughout my career. And so whenever I work, I get up every morning, I pray and I meditate. And I always remember, man, I've had some very challenging times. I don't think I think I've had some really financially challenging times, some emotional times where I wanted to quit. But the spirit of my ancestors, the ones that came across the Middle Passage, Aunt Alma, Cousin Jenny, Cousin Francis, all those folks, my mom, my dad, my sister, those people held me up internally. And I just kept on going. Whenever I got down, I just kept pushing through. And I can't tell you guys how to do that other than if you don't quit, if it don't kill you, it's going to make you better in the next 24 hours. And it's just a mental thing. You just got to, and I made a decision. I didn't want to succumb to any mental illness like my mom and my dad did. And I just kept fighting. That's all I can say. I just kept fighting. So through any adversity, 7 years ago, I went through a divorce. I lost about $5 million. 7 years ago, I came to Atlanta with only $100 in my pocket. Wow. I just did not quit. And I met some really wonderful people. The young lady that I'm dating, and I'll say her name, Marquita. I won't say her last name. When I first met her and we started dating, I had no money. And she put $10,000 in my pocket.
All right.
She's my friend, Mr. Jacob Williams, Swirl Films, Bounce TV, Eric Thomas-Sunas, Keith Neal, Walter Bennett. These have all been my friends over the years. Steve Farrier, Doug Holloway, Rose Catherine Pinckney, Kathy Colin. These are people that when I was homeless, who held me up and helped me mentally, helped me spiritually, who helped me financially. My kids kept me going. Yeah. JB was always there. My sister has always been there. So it's a plethora of people because you're going to have times when you want to quit.
Yeah.
But you got to go deep inside of yourself. And you got to say, where there's a will, there's a way. And faith is the belief in things unseen. You got to go there. And that's where I go every day. And I'm sorry, guys, I have so much. This is kind of special for me because your dad was my first cousin and one of my cousins that I helped raise, your dad. And, you know, God rest his soul. He was always there for me. He was a big old boy too. Huh?
I said, he's sitting right here in this necklace.
Yeah. And so, you know, Anthony Powell was always out on the road with me. If anybody had a problem, man, I said, Anthony, all right, little Cliff. And he come pick. I remember one time, Anthony, your dad picked the girl up in the club. She said something crazy to me. Anthony just came and picked her up and took her outside the VIP section. So it's been so many people, but I'm going to say to people out there, don't quit. Yeah. Ask for help. Yeah. We're living in some tough times right now. The pandemic is still here. Ask for help. Ask for help. Don't sit in trauma. Don't sit in homelessness. Don't sit in not having any food, any money. Ask for, I'm telling you guys, I've been up and I've been down. I've been homeless 4 times in my career. I just never quit. And I always ask for help. I just ask for help. So I think that's a blessing. Man, you asking these damn deep ass questions. I can't just answer these. Don't y'all get mad at me. I'm trying to give y'all the real deal.
Listen, we can lighten it up. I mean, you can't ask Marquita, do she need a girlfriend? I don't even feel bad about coming behind you.
No, Marquita is a gangster. She's a true boss. And she's taught me so much about love, man, and about not so much being humble, but understanding some of the deficits that we talk about from our childhoods, man. And as much as I love my childhood on a lot of levels, it shaped me and made me tough because I didn't get what other people got. I missed a lot of stuff. Like I missed how to love a woman. So I'm developing a movie about my journey with her called A Special Kind of Love. That's another whole story. We'll talk about that in a minute.
Oh, wow. So let's talk about these movies, though, while we're there. I hear that you're also in a scary movie coming up with Terrence Howard and a couple of other great.
Ooh, child. And I don't want to hear no shit from y'all. I'm playing a priest. So I don't want to hear nobody's mouth. Is he killing people as a priest? Is he raping somebody? No, I'm playing a real priest, you fuckers. They got black priests. Somebody gonna say, how he gonna go from playing Cuddy to playing a priest? It's all acting, y'all.
People act like some of your characters.
I swear to God, I was
character
in
you
a store
played,
one time.
and
This
you
girl
went,
said,
"Look
Tip, I was in a store one time, right? This girl said, ain't you from Menace Society? I said, yeah. Oh, faggot ass Chauncey, oh snitch. I'm like, boo, it's just a movie. It wasn't no movie. You really are a snitch. I mean, it's crazy. So, I'm gonna say this real quickly. I enjoy the work that I've done and making people laugh and happy. But I'm telling you, the flip side of this shit is really hard. I'm not gonna tell y'all, Negroes. I wouldn't want to be Will Smith and Jada right now. This shit is hard, man.
Yeah.
Even your friends hate you, your family hates you. It's just a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
So let me ask you. I just have two more things, and I'm gonna let you go because I know you got active business to get to.
No, we good. Let's keep going. I like this. I hope y'all getting something out of this. I hope y'all understand it. Tell y'all friends to stop messing with us and putting us in boxes, man. Let us work.
Yes, let y'all live. Let y'all be amazing as you are. So from the first day you stepped on a set to when you probably just stepped off for one last week, what has been the most important thing you've learned about yourself as an actor?
Man, what a great question. I watch Saints and Sinners every night. And every night I walk away with something new that I can work on. I watched a clip of Denzel. I was like, man, I got to keep working. That Mother Hunchy is the king. I learned I never get comfortable. People think I'm a fine actor. I think I'm a fine character actor. I can morph into, now it doesn't matter what happens now. We've got some difficult days ahead. Like anybody, I would like to live a long life. Longevity has its place. And then I can go, hey, baby girl. Or then I can go, oh, who sent you? It's all training. And what I do is I'm constantly reading. I'm constantly trying to continue to grow and learn within the art. As I move behind the camera, I'm watching, I'm studying. I don't really want to direct, but I want to produce. I want to give Black actors another platform. I want to create a platform for Marquita, for my partner Jake, for my buddy who Walter Bennett, who's an amazing writer, who's a teacher, who we want to take some of the stories that he has. I want to bring some of these wonderful stories about African American people to fruition. As a producer, some of them I may be in, but I want to bring them together because I want to continue to grow and learn. And I think when you get to a place where you stop growing and learning, you've truly burnt out. And that's what keeps me going. I keep watching and learning. Somebody said, and this is going to be funny, why does Rex Fisher always throw shit at the end of his scene? Or why is he always kicking shit around? And so I had to go back and look at the scene, and I threw stuff like 3 times in one scene. I was like, I got to work on that. So I don't think there's any negative criticism. I take all the criticism. I'm constantly reevaluating. So there you have it.
Hey, and ain't nothing wrong with that. So for people who want to get into this business, they want to be entertainment, they want to be actors. I know a lot of people look to you, to other people for advice, but what do you think are some of the most important things that folks should know about this business that they're not going to learn in school?
Girl, what you been doing since I talked to you last? You just got a book and you just start doing all your research and asking these.
This is what I do.
No, I ain't mad. You are. Hey, I don't know who's listening, but y'all need to give her a talk show. Stop playing around. I'm just putting it out there. This young lady needs to have a talk. Not only is she fine, but she's smart as hell. Shut up. Well, let me say this. Man. That is so many levels to that answer to that question. One is training. Don't believe the hype. Angela Bassett is a trained actress. Charlie Dutton is a trained actor. Denzel Washington is a trained actor. I remember seeing Viola Davis when I did this thing called Army Wives almost 15, 20 years ago. And I said, I don't know who this beautiful little chocolate lady is, but she about to take this thing by storm. And I said that to myself. I saw Taraji do a reading. She doesn't even know this. Years ago, up in the Crenshaw district. I said, I don't know where this girl. I didn't know she was from DC, and didn't realize that my teachers trained her at Howard and in DC area. I said, she's gonna be a star. So get your training.
Yeah.
You gotta have a lot of faith. So I suggest people read this book called The Road Less Traveled. When I teach from this book, The Road Less Traveled by Dr. Scott Peck. There's another book that I teach from called The Courage to Create. It is ultimate that you keep yourself in a positive thinking mindset from the day you start until the day you die.
Yeah.
I don't listen to a lot of outside energy. I was listening to Shaq the other day. He said, I listen to 5 people. I probably listened to about 7 people. Everybody else, I got to be honest with you. I'm trying to watch my language, but I'm not hearing you.
Yeah.
I have to tell the people that I train, block out all the noise. Some people will tell you you're not going to make it. I remember I was on a date with a girl, and you got to understand, I didn't get to Hollywood until I was 38. I didn't start making money until I was about 45. But in my 30s, I mean, maybe late 20s, 30s, I was on a date. And I remember coming out the restaurant with this girl. And she said, I don't know why you keep talking about being a damn actor. You ain't never going to make it. When we hit the corner, she went one way. I just left and hit the other corner and never saw her again in life. So part of it is blocking out all the noise. Get your training, positive thinking, blocking out all the noise. Now, this is something I learned from my sister Marianne, from cousin Francis, Aunt Alma. Be nice to people. Yeah. People want to know, why you in everything? Because I'm nice to work with. I don't come with a lot of ego. I put my ego in my work. Yeah. I don't play that diva stuff. Get this book, guys. A wonderful actor that I work with, who's one of the baddest cats that ever came down the pike. His name is Louis Gossett Jr. He has a book called An Actor and a Gentleman. So I'm doing a Hawaii 5-0 with Mr. Gossett, and I call him Mr. Gossett. He said, no, just call me Lou. I said, man, if I stand here and call you Lou, you better pimp smack me in my head, in my face. Where just pimp smack me. I'm calling you Mr. Louis Gossett Jr. Because he's like, I said, this is Mr. Louis Gossett. Oh, just call me Lou. I said, Mr. Gossett, no. But he has a book. And when I say one of the nicest people to work with. So be nice to people. Put your ego in your work.
Yeah.
Save your money. Save your money. Save your money. It's feast of famine. You can be hot and then and then you can be cold as hell. And the last thing I'd say, read about and watch and listen to, wherever you can, the history of Hollywood. Because eventually you're going to get outside of television or stage, and you're going to want to come out to Hollywood and make movies. Learn the history of Hollywood so you'll know how to carry yourself from a moral standpoint. And I'm not going to get deeper than that. Those are the things that I tell young people. And get your training. Get your training.
Yeah.
I knew I had to have my red wine tonight, because I'm telling you, girl, if y'all don't get this girl a talk show, and I'm going to be her first guest, and I'm going to come on with me and my Pinky Girls and my Pinky Hot Pants outfit with my man person.
And I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready for all of it, including the man purse.
And I'm going to bring Marquita with me.
Yes, I would love to meet the lady to change your life around. But it's amazing what you have been able to accomplish in 25 to 30 years, let alone just this past 7. with showing up in Atlanta with only $100 in your pocket. Some people can't ever see the bigger picture. They can't ever see what's on the other side of what they're going through. So definitely you are a shining example of what that push really means, of what it really can do, what it really can be.
I want to, before you go to the next point, I want to stay on this for a second.
Sure.
Because I want people to understand 8 years ago, I ran out of money. I went through a horrible divorce. It was the best thing that ever happened to me.
Yeah.
I was doing a play in Toronto, and the pastor said, sometimes God gotta put you in a mess to clean you up. And I was crying like a baby. And I went up to him after church, and he said, young man, just hold on.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to be in the storm, and sometimes you got to learn why you're in the storm. I had to understand that even some of the people on my team were waiting for me to fail.
Yes.
And his family, his friends, but I'm not mad at anybody. Another book that I teach from, that everybody that is listening to this broadcast right now, you have to get all the books, but you have to make sure you get these two. One is called Love by Dr. Leo Buscaglia. The other book is called The 12 Steps of Forgiveness by Paul Ferrini. That book changed my life, and God bless the lady that gave it to me. Her name is, I call her Miss Anita, but her name is Anita D'Aguilar. She saw me one day as I was coming through my divorce, and she asked me for an autograph. And I was in a bad place, and I said, right now, ma'am, I don't feel like signing no effing autographs. And she said, are you okay, brother? I said, no, today I'm not. And I broke down. You know, when you're from the hood, you can be depressed and not even know it. Like, I didn't know. I was gone for like 6 months.
Yeah.
Because it was emotionally devastating. And she went to her car, and she said, stay right here, brother. And I tell the story because I want people to understand my journey. She said, take this book and read it, and it's going to change your life. Now, the crux of that book is not about forgiving others. It's about forgiving yourself for what you have allowed other people to do to you. Because a lot of times we see the red flags.
Yeah.
Now, spiritual people live this every day. But if you've been brought up in religion and not spirituality, you might miss it.
Yeah.
You know, religion and spirituality are totally different, if you ask me. Because I know some mean-ass religious people, and I know some really deep spiritual people who don't necessarily embrace formalized religion.
Yeah.
So it's really complicated. I embrace all of it, but as I began to grow spiritually, and I read that book, I picked it up and I read it, and then I really didn't read it, and I put it down, and then I was messing up all of my other relationships. I said, maybe it's not the other people, maybe it's me. And I read that book, and what that book is about is forgiving yourself for going past the red flags, and now you getting in bed with the enemy, but they showed you they were enemy, you let them in, and now you're mad at them. So you're pointing fingers. But when you point a finger at somebody, they're 3 pointing back at you. Indeed. So that book, truly, when I was homeless and destitute, that book changed my life. So instead of being angry, I came out of that period of homelessness and not having any money. It is devastating to go from being a millionaire to having nothing. But I wouldn't change it for the world, because it got rid of all of the dead weight, all the people who were waiting for me to fail, all the men, and it's not just Black folks, it was everybody. It was men and women, it was friends, it was some family, and it changed my life because I stopped blaming everybody else. And I took responsibility for myself. So that is the key to understanding how to stay connected to whatever your passion is. Take responsibility for what you allow people to do to you, and set boundaries, healthy boundaries, and listen to that inner voice. That's what saved me.
Ooh, you just preached the word in here, y'all. Okay. We're gonna go ahead and
Well. I'm
around.
gonna ask
Okay?
everybody to put their
That
hand on the.
don't make no sound. We gonna go
I'm asking everybody to put your hand on the phone and send me and Tiffany a worshiping offer.
yes.
$100,000. $100. Everybody out there, put your hand on the phone. Back in my day, they had a pastor said, put your hand on the phone and send us $50 or $100. So if you receive that blessing, guys, stop. I'm having fun. I'm teasing. This is all. Tiffany, you know I'm gonna get in trouble. People are like,
$sign T Gray. He don't need it, but I tell y'all what.
Send it in. Tiffany, you need to do. You need it. If anybody is listening, this girl is not only great as an interviewer, but she's funny as hell. Just leave $100 at the door, y'all. Anyway, we just having fun. Please don't be offended.
Wait till I come to Atlanta to sling these jokes. You got to catch it.
I'm coming out there. I'm coming out. I will be right in the front row. I'm bringing Marquita and my Peaky people.
So before we go, I will be remiss if I don't talk about this because this is what is in the news and everybody wants to know what's going on. So,
oh my goodness, I thought we were gonna get past that.
Go ahead. So your son, of course, is dating Sasha Obama, and so everybody is in a buzz about it. And I know that you've been on my show before, Michael Collier. We talked about how that limelight in the relationships, how those things can be, trouble sometimes. Have you given your son any advice about handling such a high-profile relationship?
Tiffany, when I hang up, I'm going to get another half a bottle of red wine.
As you should.
You have really, really done your research, and I'm really impressed. I mean, the last time I came on was me and Michael Collier, but this time it's just you and I. You have really impressed me. First of all, I think you're amazing.
Thank
you.
And
just so y'all know, I met her when she was a little girl, and then we reconnected as she was an adult. And so we're rebuilding our connection. This is my second cousin. Her dad, who, God rest his soul, was my first cousin. Cousin Francis was his mom, and that was your grandma.
Yeah.
I'm working on a piece along with about 5 other scripts that I have. And one of the pieces is called A Special Kind of Love. I'm going to do something here that I haven't done. I'm going to take a second and see if I can get Marquita out here. Can I do that?
Yes. I would love to meet her.
Hold on. Kita B. Marquita. Give me a second, Tiffany.
Okay.
And I got to do this, Tiffany, only because I can't sit here and take credit for what I've learned about love. You want to join me on this podcast real quick? We're talking about love. No? Huh? Okay. Hey, Tiffany.
Yeah.
She's laying watching TV. She's like, I ain't coming on there with my hair all messed up. But anyway, let me say this to you guys. Are we live?
We are.
Okay. Well, hey, y'all, this is what happens when you live, right?
Yeah. Pretty much. They've seen me go through some things.
No, shit happens because I want all the women and men to listen to what I'm about to say. When your son is dating the ex-president's daughter, the first African-American first family's daughter, that's a deep responsibility for a son to handle and for a father and a mother and, to handle. And I can't, if it were not for Marquita, and I'm going to say Marquita, teaching me at 62 how to love, I wouldn't know what to tell my son. The majority, and I'm not going to say numbers because I don't want people write in and say, man, that's not true. Most of us are raised in single women households.
A lot, yes.
Look at the numbers. as much as I want to say what happened to Black fathers, well, it's a lot of political stuff. It's a lot of mental stuff. It's a lot of spiritual things. Slavery. I heard a psychiatrist say African Americans are suffering from 400 years of post-slavery PTSD. Mm-hmm. When you take the fathers out of the home, you are creating a vacuum that cannot be filled.
Yeah.
I didn't understand how important it was to be a father until I went through my divorce and I had to regroup and restructure and understand my life from a spiritual standpoint. Mm-hmm. As an entertainer, I got caught up in the whimsical fantasy and lifestyle of being a well-known entertainer. Mm-hmm. And I had a lot of challenges. Thank God I didn't do any drugs, but I certainly had my wild times. And when I do my one-man show, I'm going to talk about the wild years. Mm-hmm. And what I realized from being here for the last 8 years is that I am extremely dysfunctional because of my childhood. Mm-hmm. I've dated a bunch of women, but this is the first woman I've ever met that's made me aware of my dysfunction, because she had to sit in my disrespect. She had to sit in my callousness. She had to sit in my brash tone. She had to sit in my lack of respect. A lot of stuff that I've learned because she's a boss. She's a Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer, so she's all about love. If anybody's into astrology out there, she's all the love signs. Mm-hmm. And she had the patience. And it hasn't been easy for her. And I'm saying this publicly because we're going to do a movie called A Special Kind of Love about my journey with her. Mm-hmm. A lot of African-American men and women, but especially the brothers, don't really know how to love a woman, because a lot of us come from broken homes. A lot of us saw domestic violence. A lot of us saw, divorce and a lot of things that tore the family apart. Mm-hmm. And a lot of us haven't had the kind of guidance and upbringing that we should have, mm-hmm, for a myriad of reasons. So we're not going to put it on one thing.
Right.
I am a victim of that. And she has helped me understand how to be better and love a queen. Mm-hmm. And so in turn, I have to give her homage because I'm so humbled. I can't even get into how much shit she's taken from me, mm-hmm, that I didn't even know I was giving. Because until someone makes you aware of yourself from an internal standpoint as a man, a lot of times 81% of people don't talk when they're hurt.
Yeah, very true.
So a lot of times women are sitting in trauma and they don't even express it except to their girlfriends or maybe a family member. How you doing with Charles? Oh my God, I'm fine. And then they get on the phone with Keisha. Girl, this Negro is a lot of things. Yeah. But Charles comes out of dysfunction, mm-hmm, and didn't have his dad there. So I'm saying all that to say, I am so thankful to her and all my male friends who tried to help me understand what it's like to be in the spotlight and bring your lifestyle in and handle, mm-hmm, that. And I'm trying to transfer that to my son, mm-hmm, so that I can break generational curses. And we can't blame those people. Mm-hmm. Those people came out of second, third, fourth generation slavery, mm-hmm, homes torn apart, families torn apart. So we're dealing with a lot of issues, man. And I just thank her, and I thank her every day. And I apologize every day, and I take total responsibility. And I'm trying to teach Clifton Jr. the same way, because, mm-hmm, Sasha Obama needs to be treated like a young queen. Yeah. And I told him the other day, treat your girl like you would want a man to treat your daughter. And yeah, that's what I've learned in the last 7 years, but the last 3.5 years being with Marquita. And, it's been, and I want to talk about it, man, because I run into a lot of brothers who want to have conversation. And I know there's a lot of people out there, oh, he's had a lot of women, he did this. Let me grow.
Yeah.
Nobody, I heard a thing the other day, and I'm going to stop right here. Shaq was talking about his divorce from Shawn. And the interviewer was trying to pull Shaq into kind of, I don't want to say blaming Shauna. Shaq said, whoa, 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 whoa. And Shaq's a Pisces, by the way.
Yeah.
He said, whoa, don't do that. I sent him a text, man. I said, I'm so proud of you for being real and being transparent. He said, don't do that. It was all me. Yeah. So if I'm not with her, let me grow from my past. I've been a ladies' man. I've been wild. I've been crazy. I never hurt anybody. I never did anything that wasn't consensual. But I got caught up in a lifestyle that nobody explains to you.
Yeah.
And it takes you on a magic carpet ride. So I take my hat off to men like Shaq who own it. And we're trying to make our sons better. I know that was a long ass answer, but I want the men out there and the women that are trying to love us to understand, man, you got to go back to how we were raised, what we saw. And then most of us all need to be in counseling because it's really a lot to handle. So that's how I'm dealing with my son dating Sasha Obama. I'm like, bruh, it doesn't matter who her parents are. Treat her like you would want a man to treat your daughter.
Yeah.
And treat her like a queen every day.
I know that's right. So kudos to Marquita, okay? Because you done changed this man.
I'm gonna tell you the other thing you gotta do. You gotta listen. You know, we hard-headed, men are hard-headed as hell. When you with a boss and you realize she's smarter than you, sit your punk ass down and listen. Thank God I'm a Pisces and not like maybe the Taurus moon that I am, because, you know, I really had to listen. And Marquita's 35 and I'm 66. And she's way more mature than I am. And she's a boss. She was a young mother. She is simply, and she's a Scorpio. So people probably like, whoa, you didn't say she was a Scorpio because they bosses. But she's a boss, man. Like she's like how Cousin Francis and them used to be. Come home, cook, clean, don't run around, don't drink, don't do drugs. And she's a fine actress. And y'all going to hear about her. But we're going to do that movie called A Special Kind of Love because I want everybody in love to be happy. I really do. Especially artists. I don't know. I got a soft spot. Like I want Will and Jada to work it out somehow.
Somehow. Keyword.
Hey, let's talk about that slap.
Keyword is somehow.
Somehow. Hello, somebody.
Come on.
But anyway, I said all of that to say I hope you guys are listening. But teach your male sons how to love.
Yes.
And women who are in love with men who are struggling, let's go to counseling. Be patient with them, make them aware, hold them accountable, set boundaries. It is really deep, man. It's really deep. So there you have it.
A whole another hour just talking about that.
Woo, child.
That part. But I thank you so much for joining me tonight. This has been phenomenal. I know that definitely inspirational. People chimed in and said how motivational this was. I'm excited for you. Tell everybody.
No, I'm excited for you. If somebody out there don't give you a damn talk show, I'm gonna send my security people over there and beat their ass.
Listen, you could just send your security people to 15 people. I just need $1,000 out of each of them. I already know how much the studio time, makeup every day. Let's fly these niggas in.
You look fabulous. You look fabulous. You're fabulous. You look fabulous.
Thank you so much. But you guys make sure that you get caught up on Saints and Sinners. It is season 6. It is phenomenal. Shout out to Troy Chaney and his new song. He's doing something different.
Troy Chaney, my boy. Hey, I'm gonna tell y'all a real quick story before we go about faith. First of all, I want to say thank you to all of you all out there for making me a household name and watching this damn Saints and Sinners. I'm in the damn show, and I'm watching the show like I never read the damn scripts. It is so exciting. I mean, it is, and that damn Ray Ray. Oh my goodness. It is, and that grandmama, ooh, child. But let's give a shout out to my DC homie, Trey Chaney. I met Trey Chaney, and we talking about faith here. When I was in town passing through, somebody called me because I have a young man who handles all my personal stuff, Keith Neal, who's now an executive producer with Swirl. Oh, I want to give a shout out to one of my boys who I forgot to mention, one of my friends. It's a certain people you get choked up. All my teachers, Keith Neal, who walked with me, Eric Thomas-Sunis, who runs Swirl, who owns Swirl Film, told me when I was going through my divorce, I had no money. He hired me. He said, Cliff Powell, I'm a fan. When I work, you're going to work. I came on board as one of the original members of Saints and Sinners before anybody signed their contract. Keith Neal has been my right-hand man for the last 16, 17 years. James and all the guys over at Swirl Films. But I got to give a shout out. This is how I got to Swirl Film. To DMV's own Mr. My Man. People don't know he used to be a male stripper. He's lost a lot of weight now. I think he stopped eating meat. Mr. Russ Park. That's my partner.
Yes, Russell D.
All y'all know my man Russ. I cannot. I would be remiss if I don't mention my man, Mr. Russ Parr. I know I talked about JB, but I got to shout out to my whole family, all Katrina, my nieces, my nephews, my grandkids, Eliza and Rashad, their mom, Christian, grandma, grandpa. But I got to give a shout out to my nephew, Terrence Brown, my nephew, John Brown Jr., Everett, Alicia, Frida, Katrina. But my man, Mr. Russ Parr, has been in my corner from day one, man. When I was in the desert, when I was in the darkness. So I just want to give a shout out to my DMV brother, Russ Parr. I hope I didn't forget anybody. To all my DMV folks, Miss Tressa Kozel and her team. She knows who I'm talking about. All my DC homies. But let me say this about Trey Chaney, because I want y'all to understand what faith is. I ran into this little guy. I'm mad the little fucker got the beard and I can't grow my beard out.
You got to get it to connect.
Every time I see him on Saints and Sinners, I'll be like, man, I'm going to get my beard like Trey's one day, right? So I run into Trey, and he's doing this little, small, independent film. He come off the wire. He's trying to keep working. And he said, oh, gee, you know, my name's Trey Chaney. I'm just out in these streets trying to grind. I said, listen, young man, stay in the game. Keep doing your work. Keep training. Keep studying. Because what happens, I heard you say earlier, sometimes we see people and then we don't see people. And then some people fall off and we never see them again. You know, after the wire, some people blew up. Some people just had to keep on working. Trey was one of those guys. I said, man, keep working, keep working, keep working. I don't know whether it was season 2, 3, or 4, but they were auditioning people for my son on the show, me and Vanessa. And let's give a shout out to the Queen Vanessa, to all the showrunners. Let's give a shout out to Bounce TV, all the writers, everybody behind the scene, the whole cast, everybody, because it's an amazing show. So I said, Trey, he came to me and said, oh, gee, can you help me get an agent? I called Joy Purvis. I said, you got to take a look at this young man. I don't take credit for it, because if you're not trained and you're not ready to work hard, you don't get signed. She signed him. He came in and auditioned for my son, and he's been on season 6, been on the show for the last 3 or 4 years, but he came out of them streets and never gave up. So let's give shout out to my man, Mr. Trey Chaney.
Shout out,
girl.
To and then
I got to go. Let me just tell y'all, if Tiffany don't have a talk show by the end of the summer, I'm sending some people down there to talk to the people at the networks, okay?
So I was going to say, when you had mentioned Russ Parr, so I covered the red carpet for his Big 50 premiere here in DC. And just as a director, I absolutely love him. I know a lot of you all who are local listen to Russ Parr in the morning time. He was on WKYS for years and years and years, and now he's on 102.3, still doing this thing, him and his whole team. But just as a director, he is phenomenal. I love the touch that he puts on everything that he does, and having that opportunity to cover that red carpet and just see how it really comes together, see what it's really like, and get to meet him was absolutely great. I love him to death.
And let's piggyback on that.
Mm-hmm.
Working with Russ as an actor,
Mm-hmm.
if you ever get a chance, go back and watch The Under Shepherd. For all of you all out there who've never seen The Under Shepherd, go back and watch it. For all of you all have it, because Under Shepherd is really a Saints and Sinners, a spinoff of The Under Shepherd. Mm. Watch Russ Parr's work. Watch 35 and Ticket.
Yeah.
Funny as hell.
Yeah.
Russ has a way with actors that I've worked with almost a lot of directors. Russ has a way with actors to make you want to just do better.
Oh, wow.
And he's got such an eye. So if you ever get a chance to work with Russ, and quiet, he pushes you. He doesn't push you like hard. He makes you, he's got such an eye that you might do it your way. And he might say, ah, that was great. Try this. He does his homework and he's gentle. He's a gentle director. A lot of directors can be tough and hard, make you nervous. Whenever I come to work on Saints and Sinners, I had a couple of seasons ago. I don't know. I just got discombobulated and I had a lot of words. Russ said, you know what, Cliff, we're going to break this up and do it in parts. Mm-hmm. Man, because even when you're a veteran, man, there are days when you just can't get it. And that's not a lot of days, but I had a lot of dialogue and it was different segments. And Russ was so gentle and made you feel like it's okay, bro. You ain't no robot.
Yeah.
So hats off to Russ Parr. And y'all watching season 6. Season 6 directed by Russ Parr. Man, it's on fire. If you haven't seen it, go back. If you haven't seen Saints and Sinners, for all of you all haven't seen it, download the Brown Sugar app or get on Hulu. Mm-hmm. If you go to Brown Sugar, you can see season 1 through 5, and they have all the first 6 episodes of season 6.
All right, now get caught up, you guys. Get caught up. Catch everything that is going on, is going down. You all already know who it is, the icon, the man himself, Clifton Powell here. And we have had a great time. I hope you all chimed in, learned something. If you missed something, run this shit back, okay? Because it's
run it back. Don't play around.
Gems all through here. Get your pen, get your pad, and write down every single book he told y'all to get. Okay. And if you ain't doing shit with your life, goddamn it, watch this again. It's gonna make you want to get up and do something. So thank you so much for taking your time and sitting down with me. I truly, truly appreciate it. Look forward to seeing you in person. Look forward to all great things coming from you and from you stepping behind the camera as well and directing and producing. Definitely have a support team here. So thank you so much. You all follow him at It's Clifton Powell. Make sure you stay out his DMs, okay? Because we will pull up.
No, come in my DMs, but don't say nothing negative because I'm going to block your black ass.
Don't say nothing negative.
And if you start threatening me, I'm going to send my CIA team after your ass.
There you go.
Okay, listen, let me say this before I go. I want you to know how proud I am of you.
Thank
your
you.
Dad is watching.
Yeah.
Your mom, your family. You're doing an amazing job. And I'm really serious. Somebody needs to come and give you a show. Not only are you beautiful and smart, but you're funny as hell. So I'm honored to be here. You know, I got to get out of here before I really get emotional. But you got Cousin Francis' spirit, man. And, you come from good stock. So God bless you. God bless your family. God bless all your sisters. And let's keep on doing this. So this is one of many that we're going to do. Okay. And I'm really serious. Somebody needs to take a look at how you're handling yourself. Some of the most poignant questions I've ever answered. Somebody step up and give her a show, y'all, because it's going to be a hit. And don't be trying to jump on the bandwagon after it's a hit. Talking about, I have been listening to her. Not like folks do. I always was helping them out. No. Give her a platform, y'all. I ain't playing. I love y'all. Listen, man. I love everybody around the world and the country, but I love the DMV the best. Give me some crab legs when I come home. Yeah. I want to give a shout out to my man, Jimmy Jenkins, who's doing something in DC at Duke Ellington. A shout out to Workshop for Careers in the Arts, Duke Ellington, all my folks in the DMV. I love y'all. God bless y'all. Hey, listen, I got to say this real quick. To all my high school friends at St. Anthony's who've always been in my corner. All my homies in Mayfair Mansion, Parkside, Mayfair, Woodson Junior High School. I got to say this, man, to all my teachers. There's a teacher who changed my life. I'm not sure she's still alive, but if she's listening and she's in the DMV, if y'all know of her, I think she was at Woodson High School at one point. Her name is Miss Turner. Changed my life, helped me get into DeMatha. I want to give a shout out to all those folks and to my high school friends who've been with me up and down from the beginning. I love all of y'all. God bless y'all. I'm finna go, Tiffany, before you start making me cry. I'm gone.
All right. See you later.
See you later.
All right. So thank you all for joining me tonight for this special one-on-one with T. Gray. Something I'm going to try to do a little bit more often, you guys, and get a one-on-one in here at least every month or so, maybe every other. Y'all chime in. Let me know what you want. Okay, your girl's going to try to bring it to you. And you all have a good night. I know we ran a little bit long, but y'all have fun. I will see you all actually right here again tomorrow, 9 p.m. for Illustrate Radio. And y'all be safe. Bye-bye.